This is the Courier 13 podcast with Werner Andrews, a weekly think tank of in-depth conversations among rising filmmakers. My goal with this show is to showcase the innovative talent and ideas that Hollywood hasn't discovered yet. Hey guys, welcome to the Courier 13 podcast from my couch. Yeah, it's a little different than what we normally do. So I thought, since I don't have a guest for you guys this week was pretty hard to book someone. I thought we should just do a little one-on-one session. And this is something that I haven't done before, but I think it'd be really interesting if we just do, in between like podcast episodes, like have intermittent, like just one-on-one sessions with me. And I can just talk about, I can like spend 15 minutes just talking about like something that I think is really helpful or useful to artists, especially right now who are struggling to find inspiration and creativity. Well, and not, I mean, you're looking for creativity and tap into that. And that's kind of what I would like to talk to you guys about today. I posted on my Instagram, well, this is before Thanksgiving, actually, a few weeks ago. I posted basically that I was kind of going through a really bad slump of not knowing where I wanted to place my creativity in. And more specifically, what story I wanted to write next. Like, what was the next screenplay I was going to write? It took me a really long time to get myself in the right frame of mind to do it. To just be like, okay, here's an idea. I'm going to flesh it out and I'm going to go for it. And I don't know if you guys have had that same issue lately, especially now with times like these. I mean, I know in Chicago right now, the lockdown's happening again, and we're becoming more isolated once more. It's not like summer where we could at least go outside and hang out. We're now back indoors a little bit more, and it's, of course, there's still Zoom and all these amazing devices that allow us to connect, but once again, we're physically detached. I think that has a lot to do with what's going on. But also, I think it's a mindset thing. I think my mindset towards my creativity was fucked up. And I'm going to explain why and how I figured that out by reading this book. It's called Big Magic. I on the post that I posted on Instagram about this book, just how amazing it was. And I'm not finished with it yet. I'm a little more, I'm maybe like, I'm a little more than halfway done with it. But even now, there's just, even with what I've read so far, there's just so much here. And this book, honestly, is completely reshaping how I view my relationship with creativity. Just to give you some background, this book is written by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the same author who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. That was a very big, sensational book that came out. I don't know when that book came out. I don't know, early 2000s. I can't remember. This book is called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear. I don't know if you guys see that. There you go. Creative Living Beyond Fear. Basically, this is Elizabeth Gilbert's sort of collection of lessons and ideas on how to interact with one's creative side, with one's creative passion. And these stories and these lessons do not just apply to writers. They also apply to people who want to, go to a dance class, people who want to start cooking, people who just want to create something. They want to add more creative outlets in their lives. This is a great book to read. But if you're a writer and you're a filmmaker or creative, this is also a phenomenal read, because Gilbert gives us her perspective on how creativity works. To her, creativity is more so, it's this mystical thing that surrounds us. And it we don't have control over inspiration and how it interacts with us. Inspiration is basically, holding the wheel, so to say, and inspiration essentially is viewing us as hosts. And that inspiration comes to us, but we have to be willing and available to receive that inspiration. And if we're not emotionally available, inspiration will pass us by. I mean, it makes sense when you think about being in whether it be an emotional funk, whether you're going through a fit of depression or something. And I don't mean just like the clinical version of depression. I mean, like, some people go through like really bad seasonal depression and stuff like that. We as creatives know when we're in a mood of negativity and anxiety where ideas literally couldn't come to us even if they smacked us in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could be in this city, you can be living in this city, this beautiful, amazing city with all these amazing people and all of these perspectives. And at the end of the day, if you're just in your own head and you're just emotionally and receptively unavailable to the inspiration and the creativity and the ideas that are actually floating around you, you'll miss it, and you'll continue to stay in that funk. I know this happened to me for, I want to say 2 weeks. Like, it happened for like a straight 2 weeks. And then I just got out of this funk, and it was very debilitating because I really felt like I wasn't me anymore. I felt like I was a shell of myself. I felt like I wasn't my creative self at all. I was not the person that I aspire to be. And I want to share one of the passages that Gilbert writes that it was a paradigm shift for me. It got me to rethink how I view my approach to my art. And I just want to share this passage with all of you. It's relatively short, so please bear with me. So Gilbert writes about the central paradox, and I'm just going to quote Gilbert here. In conclusion, then, art is absolutely meaningless. It is, however, also deeply meaningful. That's a paradox, of course, but we're all adults here, and I think we can handle it. I think we can all hold two mutually contradictory ideas at the same time without our heads exploding. So let's give this one a try. The paradox that you need to comfortably inhabit if you wish to live a contented, creative life goes something like this. My creative expression must be the most important thing in the world to me if I am to live artistically. It also must not matter at all if I am to live sanely. Sometimes you need to leap from one end of this paradoxical spectrum to the other in a matter of minutes and then back again. As I write this book, for instance, I approach each sentence as if the future of humanity depended upon it, upon me getting this sentence just right. I care because I want it to be lovely. Therefore, anything less than a full commitment to that sentence is lazy and dishonorable. But as I edit my sentence, sometimes immediately after writing it, I have to be willing to throw it to the dogs and never look back. Unless, of course, I decide that I need that sentence again after all, in which case I must dig up its bones, bring it back to life, and once again regard it as sacred. It matters, and it doesn't matter. Build space in your head for this paradox. Build as much space for it as you can. Build even more space. You will need it. And then go deep within that space, as far in as you can possibly go, and make absolutely whatever you want to make. It's nobody's business but your own. Now, to go off of that paradox, there's another mini section in this book about perfectionism and how, perfectionism is like it's just insecure fear dressed in high heels. Perfectionism is just an excuse that artists and people make for just not fulfilling their artistic dreams and their artistic ambitions, because they fear that if they start making the art, if they start writing the book, if they start writing the screenplay, if they start getting the film ready, if they start learning a new recipe, that if the outcome that they predict is not as perfect as what initially appears in their mind, then they just won't do it. And unfortunately, that's most people, as Gilbert described. And honestly, guys, that's kind of been me for a while. I You know, again, I have been writing, I've written a lot of screenplays, but there have been so many times where I've had ideas for something, or I've had notions about something, about an idea. I felt like inspiration was kind of manifesting itself inside of me. It was creeping in. And I imagined this perfect thing in my head. But because I imagined it so perfectly, I didn't go for it. And by that I mean I didn't start writing unabashedly. I was way too insecure to do it. And I would guess that a lot of you artists out there are feeling the same way, especially now with these troubling and concerning times. We're all manic inside. And the idea of trying to put something out there, of the need to put something out there is great. But also that need to make something that's perfect is also fucking great. And that might stop you in your tracks. Don't think that perfectionism is a good thing. Because here's the thing, you will never make something as perfect in your head, on the page, on the screen, on the canvas, whatever. You should aim to get as much as you can. You should aim to get 95%. But there's always going to be that 5%, that 4%, that 1% that you're going to be like, oh, that sense, ooh, that character's a little bit underdeveloped and they're kind of just serving the plot. But hey, if I change this character and I develop them more, then that's going to fuck up the entire story. So I'm just going to leave the story as is. You're going to have that happen to you. And it's happened to me. Listen, I'm just trying to figure out this endeavor that I'm going on right now. But just I think what Gilbert is saying about the paradox reigns so true with this idea of perfectionism. In order to make art and to sanely live art and to productively make art, you have to take yourself and your art incredibly seriously, but you also cannot take yourself or even your art to some extent that seriously. Humanity is not going to explode. It's not going to be exterminated if you don't write your next sentence. But in a way, that's freeing. And I know some people might be demoralized to hear that perspective. But Gilbert writes, and I agree with her on this, in a way, that's very freeing. The notion that it doesn't matter, because then it makes you free to just unabashedly create. Gilbert coins the term, don't aim to be a perfectionist, aim to be a disciplined half-ass. And what she means by that is be disciplined, create every day, write every day, improve yourself every day. But know that when it first comes out, when those words first hit the page, when you first start your project, it's not going to be perfect. To you, it might seem half-assed, but that's okay. Because at least you're doing what most people don't do, and that's actually start and actually seeing it through and actually finishing the work that you imagined in your mind, that inspiration gave you. I think that pretty much sums it up. Do not be scared of making something that at first seems half-assed. Be a disciplined half-ass first. Don't aim to be a perfectionist. Just dive into whatever you're doing and finish it. Finish that first draft. Finish that first cut of a film. And then continue to improve it. Continue to hone your skills. Continue to perfect your craft. But then there's going to come a point where it's going to get to that 94% good. And you're not going to be able to get that 6% done. You're not going to get that 6% perfect, because nothing is, I'm telling you guys, nothing, and this isn't just me talking, I watch interviews by famous filmmakers, David Fincher, Martin Scorsese, Greta Gerwig, Ava DuVernay, all those people. They all say the same thing. We do our best. We follow our intuition. We follow our gut. At the end of the day, when all is said and done, you're going to find something that you're going to pick at and that you're going to say is not perfect with what you created. But that's okay because you made it. You actually have something to show for it. And that is one of the takeaways I want to give you from this book. Ooh, get in the sunlight. Can you even see that? No, you can't. Big Magic. Elizabeth Gilbert. I can't believe I forgot her name. Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic. Yeah, guys, just create and don't feel like you're being watched because no one's watching. Just make stuff. And then when it's time to present it, get it out there. And no, it's not going to be completely perfect, but you've done what most people will not do. You've made something and you can show that to people. And it can either inspire people. Some people might not like it, but hey, not everyone's going to like what you do. That's also a fact. Guys, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about that. I feel like I covered what I wanted to say, but I'm just thinking. Yeah, no, guys, thank you. I know this isn't a conventional show. This isn't like the typical version of the podcast, but I kind of liked this. I like just kind of talking to the camera and talking to you guys. So airing my thoughts out, as it were. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really, it means a lot. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, please follow it at Podcast Courier 13. Remember to subscribe to the channel so I can keep making these videos. And remember to leave a like on this video. It would mean the world to me, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, hang in there. I know it's still a weird time, but continue to create unabashedly, and be disciplined. But also, it's okay to start off making something that's kind of half-assed and then improving and refining it and then making it the great work that you want it to be. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Oh, and happy creating, my friends.